Hello and welcome to Voice of Supply Chain, brought to you by ISM New Jersey. I'm your host, Katherine McCleery. As always, so good to be here. Glad to see everyone, and so excited for today's show. As you know, we're here to tell the personal stories of people in supply chain and procurement doing extraordinary things. And today I just can't wait for you to meet our guest. We're going to be joined by Jose Bustillo. He's Vice President of Delivery and Procurement Excellence at SpendHQ, where he also leads a growing team, oversees global procurement systems and operations. His background spans across industries like fashion, retail, tech, and along the way, he's become quite an advocate for mentorship and representation in procurement. He's also the founder of Somos, and he'll talk about that later. It's an initiative dedicated to supporting next gen of supply chain leaders. And as you're about to find out, his path to leadership is anything but typical. And I find it very inspiring. I hope you will too. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Jose. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Really excited to be here, and I can't really wait to start this conversation. For those who are watching us, thank you so much for joining us. And yes, I'm ready to get this started. Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, glad to have you. And just for those that may have seen you around LinkedIn or have seen you at ISM events, give us just a quick high level of what you do at SpendHQ to help us build a little context for the rest of the conversation.
So what do you do? What do I do at SpendHQ? So I'm the VP of delivery. So my team, my goal is to streamline, making sure that we execute all the commitments that we have with our lovely customers. And my goal is to streamline those processes by empowering my team and our working cross collaboration to ensure that those expectations are met, that we are innovating, that we are providing the support we need to our customers, and then I am just passionate about everything change management, everything leadership, empowering people. In this case, I have an amazing team who's motivated, who's excited to lead transformation, who's excited to execute on all these tasks. And on the side, I do write content on LinkedIn, as you've probably seen me. So thanks again to all my supporters and followers. It's been absolutely a great journey for the past year writing content. And again, we just got a simple goal: motivating individuals to have a voice, to speak up, to support each other, especially now these days, and used to share our unique experiences. I think like mine is completely different to each individuals, and I met so many talented people that have shared their life experience with me, their professionalism, and everything they do. And I think I just want to help out those who are still have some questions, those who need support, and at the end, it's pretty much serving the person I was once. It was in the past. So, when I was in college, I needed that support, and now I want to be able to give back to my community by doing this.
Love that. Full circle. That's the way it should be. Quick admin for those that might just be joining and maybe haven't watched this show before. We love to see your comments come through. If you want to say, hey, where you're from. Hi, Nathan. Good to see you. And especially if you have a question for Jose as we're going through conversation, we will pause and make sure we get it answered. And of course, if you have comments, please pop them in the chat. We love to see that. And well, we'll get right into it. I have a question for you that we didn't prepare for. So yeah, describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh goodness. Committed, respectful, and disciplined.
So committed, respectful, and disciplined.
Yes. So those are 3 words that I think I will bring this back to my mom and how I was raised. If you have a dream, commit to it, execute it, go after that. Respecting everyone else, respecting boundaries, respecting expectations, respecting people. That's the other thing. And by doing so, it's just staying, focused, have discipline, and pretty much align with what it is that you want by respecting others, respecting it is what you're going through, and just stay in line. There will be directions, just like driving a car. When you get lost by mistake, and it happens, and that's life. And sometimes we continue to navigate thinking that's the right path, and that's not what God has planned for you. And then we have to go a different direction, and then find that direction that works for you. And if it doesn't work, find it the other direction, and how you're going to get to that point. The key here is do not stop. So this is something that goes back to how I was raised, and my key secret to successful, again, not just by creating friendships, by empowering other people, but also by continuing to look out for our community and for our people, for our younger generation. I have nephews and nieces as well, and I'm concerned about that, about all the changes that we have seen, and I see myself in them, and it's just, it motivates me. So
You can see my dog has joined the chat.
I love it. I love it. And I was thinking, by the way, that was a great question. I was not expecting, looking for, but I was not expecting that question. But no,
That's
thanks for that. And therefore,
yeah.
anyone in the audience, please feel free to ask any questions. I feel like this is one of my first times actually sharing more about me. You probably see me posting and encouraging others and motivating people. But you will hear today some things that maybe you haven't heard before. So, yeah, I look
Well,
forward to that.
that leads me to my next question that we didn't prepare for.
Mm.
Um, what's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
Wow, this is one thing. Well, a lot of people do not know that I'm also a baker, a professional, by the way, cake designer. So I don't think I told you this, Catherine,
You
before.
didn't, because
Yeah.
had you, we would have had an entire 45-minute conversation about baking. I love baking.
Yeah, no, so today we're not going to talk about recipes. We're not going to talk about piping or anything like that. But yes, I did go to school. And if you ask me, I don't even know how I did it, because it was really at the end of my college. I was doing my thesis, and then I remember going to school from 7 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, taking a train to New York City to go up to my next school, baking school, from 2 to 6 p.m. And then I needed to be at work at 7:30 to 11 o'clock at night, and I did that for such a long time, with one simple reason. That was because my aunt, which I when I moved to the States, I lived with my aunt. So she loves baking. That she just didn't speak English or had the resources to go to school. So I was like, okay, let me just go to school and learn how to do this. So I'll teach you how to do it. And that's why I did it. And it actually was awesome. I created my own business. I was making money making cakes, mostly, So
You are full of surprises.
a lot of people don't know this about me, but yes, I'm also a baker. Have I baked a cake in the past 6 months, a year? No, I haven't. I'm really busy, but if you're extra special, yes, I will probably make a cake for you.
Well, guess what? This just turned into a baking podcast. So everyone,
Well,
buckle up, settle
we'll,
in.
we'll do a baking competition. So I know there's a lot of talented individuals out there who also have this skill set as well.
Well, I'm also going to say hi to a few people joining. I'm sure they are just as surprised as I am to hear that our guest for Voice of Supply Chain is also a voice of baking. Hi, Curtis. Hi, Mary, Danielle, Julie. Good to see all of you. Thanks for joining us, Laura,
Hey, Laura.
and my one of my absolute favorites, Heather Foch. Um, love to see you joining us. Wow, you just surprised me, and I have lost my place. Um, we're gonna talk about buttercream at another point in time.
Well, we'll do it. I'm happy to share some recipes as well. But it's like, back to my point. It's it goes back to the commitment and the I guess the direction that you really want to go. I remember when I moved to the U.S. almost 18 years ago. I was telling this to my nephews and nieces yesterday. I was on the way from the airport, completely lost because I had no idea where I was. I was in LA going to my dad's house, and my dad said to me that day, "Hey, son, you have two options here: going to the right or to the left. To the right, you will become someone. You will go to school. You will learn. You will do all these things, or you can go to the left. And you do drugs, you do drinking, you do all these things. You picked. You are 19 years old. There's nothing I can do for you. And I remember those words. And I was telling this to my nephews and nieces because our next generation, it's different, right? And they want everything now, and without really thinking about how that will impact, overall. But I'm glad that I had the guidance that I had. Has it been easy? Absolutely not. Has it? It's completely rewarding. So I will not change anything that has happened to me in the past, regardless of everything I've been through.
Well, you are a wealth of knowledge and a lot of, we can go a lot of directions with this conversation, but where I would like to start is some of your early life. And so you grew up in Honduras. So I would love to know, a little bit about what that was like and, some favorite memories or a favorite time from that part of your life.
I remember these Sunday afternoons with all the family coming together to my house because I was with my grandfather at that time and my mom. So my mom was a single mother and the baby. So I was the overprotected kid kind of thing. My mom was a principal for a school, so she would take me to school with her. She was never my teacher, by the way, but she was always taking me to school, and I was always like reading books and learning and being like, I guess in my head, like my mom wanted me to be, very disciplined and focused. So I did all that to make sure that my mom was happy and but I remember my town is a very small town in Honduras, 6 hours away from the capital. So for me to go to Honduras usually takes a whole complete day. I went to the city for school, but I grew up in a very small town. So everybody knows each other. Everybody knows our family. My family is part of maybe one of the largest families in town. My grandpa, who passed away at 99 years old 2 years ago, he was completely well respected in the whole town. So plus my mom was very well known. So it was really nice. But I think spending time with family on Sunday afternoon, eating soup or eating whatever it is that my aunt will make, she was probably the best at cooking, more than my mom. Um,
Well, don't say
and
that out
no,
loud.
she's not no, she's the best. But my aunt, she deserved that. She's no longer with us. So she was. I grew up with her as well. So I love them dearly. And but yeah, my mom is not here, so she knows that I'm doing all of these things, but she's not on LinkedIn. But yeah, I remember that the sense of community, the sense of um, I grew up also in a very conservative Catholic family. So that was another thing. Like church was a day for, I mean, Sundays were a day for church. So I grew up in church. I grew up singing in church. I'm pretty bad at singing, by the way, so I don't know how that actually happened. But I was actually singing at church for a long time, and then I moved into the city, and I started to see things differently, and moved to the States, and that was a complete shock from becoming the person who had everything to someone who found himself working at McDonald's, not even knowing how to open a bottle of ketchup. So it was a complete different experience when I moved to the US.
So I imagine you didn't dream of going into procurement as a little boy in Honduras, but you did dream of becoming a broadcaster. Tell me about that. What sparked that notion?
Yeah, so I had no idea about procurement until a couple of years ago, right? So yeah, thanks procurement. I love what I do now, by the way. I wanted to be a broadcaster, and I went to school for economics, and I did also journalism. So I love and I have passion for writing, for storytelling. But also when it comes to journalism, you're not just telling your story; you're telling someone else's story. And I wanted to be that voice for people. So when I was growing up, I was watching TV shows like more obviously in Spanish, and I was like, I want to be that person. I want to have my own TV show moving, when I grew up. So when I moved to the U.S. and I hear people telling me you cannot do that because, well, one, you don't speak English. Two, how are you going to afford that? And three, well, you have no connections to get to one of the largest TV broadcasters in the U.S. for our Hispanic community. So there were a lot of those individuals who did not believe that could happen. but I did actually. I make it happen. I did go to school. I graduated from college, or like I told you, with a journalism degree in communication, and then I was able to join the company that I always wanted to work for. So I was able to meet the people that I grew up watching on TV, artists and singers and presenters, and being next to them. That was a dream come true for me. It was not paying the bills because I had a lot of student loans, so I decided to go a different route, and that's when I found myself joining the fashion industry, and then procurement indirectly, and now to where I am today.
Again, there's so many twists and turns to your story. And I want to back it up for just a moment in case anybody missed this. At 19, you moved to the US without speaking English. Okay, just level setting that this was what you started with, and you wanted to go into broadcasting. You were told that you couldn't do that because you didn't know English, and you said, "You know what? Yes, I can, and watch me." And so you went through school, you learned English, um, and you overcame. Obviously, if you ended up working at the news station that you grew up watching and loving. Tell me about that process of, obviously, we're going back to the three words that describe you, right? Commitment, discipline, and I'm sure there's plenty of elements of respect throughout that. Just bring us back in that time and put us in your frame of mind. What compelled you to continue on, maybe when there was some early discouragement about that, specifically about not being able to go into journalism or broadcasting because of not having a mastery of English right off the bat?
It's I hear you speaking, and my mind had so many emotions so quickly because you literally sent me back to 18 years ago. And my mom was a single mother, right? And she probably wasn't aware that I was seeing things or understanding things, and she was keeping that from my sister and I to protect us, I guess. So when I moved to the U, I didn't have to come to the US. It was the first time that I was going to be living with my father, and my other family here in the US. So I was a bit still hurt to what happened between my mom and my dad. But my goal was just one thing. My motivation has been my mom all the time because of what I saw, because of what sometimes she was crying and I saw her. She was never telling me what she was crying for. And other things that she did that I saw that she probably doesn't know even until today. And when it was probably was the only time I cried when I moved to the US because I was really living pretty much everyone, my family, my friends, my everything. But I keep saying to myself, well, I'm the only way for my family to change for the best, for my mom to stop doing what she has been doing, for my sisters to have what she doesn't have, and for my nephew, who was at that time 2 weeks old, he's now 17 years old, staying with me today, and be like, and provide a much of a better life for them. So it was very tough. We did not have AI, so ChatGPT was not around, and I ended up going to school for journalism. So not speaking any English, to your point, and it was hard because I did it all on my own. My family, they didn't know what they didn't know, so they couldn't really support me. I ended up signing up for a lot of student loans which I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't have the guidance. And it was tough coming back, working full time because I always supported my mom since day one. I haven't stopped supporting my mom. So I needed to make sure that that money was available to send to Honduras for my mom. And then my personal things and all that. So coming from work at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, and sitting down to write essays or write news articles because I needed to go to school the next day and present and defend that. It was tough. It was really complicated. I remember when someone said to me, like, you should not be in this class because English is not your first language. And that was really tough, to experience all of that. And I was navigating all that through myself. But again, all of these things just gave me empowerment to continue to, to prove myself that I could do it to an extent, and I did it. And I look back to that, and I now working from home and work for a wonderful company, wonderful people. I met incredible, talented individuals. Again, I was going to through two different schools at the same time to learn, for an English ESL at that time, and then was able to get scholarships, and I was able to graduate with honors in very fairly quickly. So how I did it, it was all, I guess, because of the motivation that I had through my mom. So and the need for doing something better for my community, for my people, and it has been still my main driver even today. My mom, and I don't think that's going to change.
A lot of motivation and even more grit, I would say, as a
Right.
person, just willing to push through um, what I would consider insurmountable challenges if it were me.
Yeah, I know it's been a journey. It's been a journey that has, and mine is not as complicated as other people. I'm sure there's others who have going through a lot as well. But again, something that I haven't changed is my mindset of continuous learning, and this is something my message with the new generation. You got to be curious. You got to ask questions. You got to pay attention to what people are saying. I went through that already. I don't want you to go through that because I already did. And this is the message I tell my family as well. Like, I did all that for you. Like, you don't have to go through all of that. But again, it's and this is the reason why I started with Somos as well, like motivating our next generation. I don't want to get ahead of the conversation, but yeah, these are the little things that just encourage me to continue with my work and what I'm doing.
So let's figure out, let's jump forward a little bit in your timeline. And you're going to have to remind me the details because your work history is so dynamic. Um, you were interviewing for Bulgari, right?
Yes,
And that was your transition into procurement, correct?
that's right. Yes.
Okay, tell me about that process because this actually is a really incredible story again of your grit as a person, and I would love for our audience to hear that you ended up there.
Yeah, no, it's if I know if Ariana is watching this, I don't know if Ariana is. She's my former boss of Bulgari. She knows how much I love her and appreciate her. Obviously, Ricky as well. I don't know if you're watching this. Ricky was my first boss after college, and he has a fashion company still in New York City. Who I was doing EDI. I had no idea what EDI was all about. I was doing a little bit of accounting. Ricky told me all of these things. PO. I was cutting POs. Yes, I was cutting POs and not knowing that was procurement. I was there for a couple of years, and then until today, he's still my mentor. So I appreciate everything he's doing, even today, to guide me to be in who I am. And then I applied to Bulgari because that was one of the brands that I was really all passionate about. This was 2018, 2017, and then I did not get the job. So it was between someone else and myself, and I didn't. So I was, as you can imagine, extremely disappointed because I did not get a job. But week after that, I joined another fashion company, which I learned about logistics and all this, the bill of lading and all different things. Again, not knowing that it was all procurement. Uh, Something happened. It was call it a miracle, whatever you want to call it. But 6 months later, the CFO at Bulgaria at the time, I got an email saying, hey, would like to meet again, and then I had a meeting, and then the meeting was all about an offer to join the company again, and I was at that point at the time one of the first ones to get hired for to join the procurement department to lead the implementation with Ivalo. I had no idea what Ivalo was all about, so I had to learn all of that as well. But again, we did it, and it became one of the most innovative, complex implementations the company has been through. I was leading then the procurement for the US, Mexico, Panama, some influence in Brazil, some bars, and then it became an amazing project, an awesome opportunity that led me to travel to China. So I was in Shanghai, I was in Hong Kong for a couple of weeks, and we had a completely new plan set up for different countries, Spain, Italy, France. But then the pandemic hit, and then all of that changed. And that's how I found myself in procurement and the passion about the stakeholder management, adoption, the navigation throughout implementation timelines, because we saw so many different learnings throughout the implementation process that could have been avoided. So all these type of learnings and pretty much having conversations, listening, those who were impacted by it, accounts payable, accounting, and finance, and across divisions, and just like understanding what the pain points were. And this is what I love what I do now, because implementation, again, that's the percentage now is still high of implementation failing, and if we can avoid all that from happening, so I'm pretty much a walking example of things that have happened that successfully we have changed. And I think people are the main driver when it comes to that. So then I'm sorry, that was a long answer, but it's that's how I found myself at Bulgari. I still have a very close relationship with the whole team, and excited to see what the company is doing, and how we, are proud of the foundation we built, and even prouder of what what the team has done now to keep that from, still happening.
So do you think while you were there that you got to level up your fashion game as well as your procurement game?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I always appreciate. I think this is probably most of my personality, but I always appreciate fashion and colors, and this is something that I also talked about. You only have a chance, right? So it's a lot of perception, and people create a perception of who you are, whether you like it or not. Even just right now, there's a lot of people creating perceptions about me that maybe they didn't think about it, or it's just what the reality of things. But yeah, I do have a lot of respect and appreciation for fashion, even more so after like the Bulgari experience. It was just fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that would be an incredible perk of working somewhere where you could absorb, you know, fashion sense or additional culture. So I love that. And you're okay. This is wild to me. How long have you been in procurement? How many years?
It's been 7 now, almost 8. Yeah,
Almost
7.
8.
Six.
Okay. And you're now leading a 15-person team, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in less than 8 years, you have come really far, I would say, pretty quickly. And when you look back, what do you think made that kind of growth possible in this amount of time for you in procurement specifically?
That's a great question. I think what the work that we have done in the past, and how what people have seen or hear, or there's always these things that happen. It's a small world. I think networking has played a big role within all of this. I was a client of SpendHQ before with Bulgari. So,
Okay.
how things happen like that, and now I am working on the other side of of the spectrum. So, I think it's just that commitment that people see, the motivation that I bring to teams, and also the level of I would call it leadership in a way to empower team members, to empower across departments, to having a conversation about things, providing solutions, and not just bringing problems, and just pretty much creating this inclusive environment. Because for me, inclusivity, coming from Honduras to the US, it was hard. Like sometimes I wasn't invited to a couple of things because I was not fit for that, or sometimes I was excluded because I didn't have the money to pay for it. These are comments that people said. And how does that make me feel? It was hard at the beginning. I was sitting at a table. I remember joining a group of a company, and then you are the only Latino there, but you're also the youngest person, and you still have to deal with this mindset of, the all procurement way of doing things, but also a way of leadership. And I think for me that has changed. I was lucky to work for amazing leaders, whether this was Ricky, his fashion company, whether this was Bulgari, the CFO, was absolutely amazing. The feedback that he provided. And one thing I have about me is that I am not perfect. I'm far from being perfect, but I do like to I like to receive feedback a lot. So I continuously ask people, what should I have done better? Or how could we avoid this from happening again? Um, or what do you do to help you to where you are today? And what can I do to get me there? And I have these conversations with all my leaders, despite all pretty much CFOs, CEOs, and I have these conversations. What do you do that I can do to help me get there? So I think it's a mindset, and I think this is my message with someone's. You need to find your way, and that is obviously being respectful, because there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of this and that. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm competing with myself, with my dreams, and with the things that I want to accomplish. I believe that everybody has a path, and I go home and I sleep in peace, knowing that I've helped my community in the ways that I never thought I could help. During pandemic, for instance, my grandpa died because of it. My auntie died because of it, and we created this nonprofit in Honduras to help out our community, and also in the U.S. And there were two individual CEOs of companies who never met me before on LinkedIn, through LinkedIn, and they were able to donate over $250,000 in products to ship
Wow.
to Honduras. So it's fascinating how something like that simple, and how trust can actually be so transformative to anyone pretty much. And we help many hospitals in Honduras across the country, not just in my town. Thousands of people that were helped with masks, with sanitizer, with all these things like that we donated. So if I look back, yeah, it's just this. I think it's just the motivation to wanting to do better, to be better, to continue to in the path that you want. So it's just all dreams, but again, it's a mindset.
Before I ask my next question, I just want to make sure that we have a chance to highlight your nonprofit. What's the name of it again?
So the nonprofit in Honduras is called the B Foundation, or the Building Excellence Foundation. So what we do, we help out, because I was a single. My mom was a single mother, and I'm the son of a single mother. Our goal is to help out students from single moms to help finish college in Honduras. But we also do other community service, whether it's just to help support specific projects, or if someone is sick and is raising funds for whatever it is, then I try to influence others to help donate Christmas toys, or gift baskets, which we did last year. Thanks to everybody who donated. We provided over like 60. We helped over 60 families in Honduras with food for a week for Christmas and New Year's. So little things that helped. But with the building foundation, it's not as active as it is right now, because I'm too busy doing other things, but it's still there. Now it's almost, which is more for procurement. So yeah, doing a little bit of everything.
There's just so much creativity, and um, it seems like you have this pattern of having a goal, setting your mind to something, and just creating with the intent of serving others, that I think is a beautiful thing and plays so well into the procurement space, and wanting to serve your teams and help bring them up and raise them up, and of course outside of SpendHQ, and we'll get into that with Somos in just a moment. um, but I want to just pause and have a moment here and ask you, I'm sure your leadership style has evolved over the years and you have been able to optimize, right? But And you've learned from, it sounds like you've had some really great mentors. Was there something that you learned along the way, whether it was yourself or someone else, of what not to do for leadership in or out of procurement?
Just a not to do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I think so. I think there's one good lesson I will never forget this, by the way. Um, and it's about learning how to listen. So not listening, it's a big mistake in so many different levels. And one example is I remember when I was, I don't think I should mention the name of the company, but there was a project that I was working on. And it was the early stages of my career, and I interrupted my um, my boss at the time. He was instructing me to do something, and I thought I had captured everything that he wanted me to do. And he was like, "All right, cool. Well, can you please, come back next week and present, the plan?" So I came back the week after, presented the plan. Oh, it looks good, but it's no. I think you could do it a little bit better. So, all right, next week again for a month and a half, back and forth every week. And at the end, he said to me, "Okay, come." We sat down, and he was like, "You got it right the first time, but I wanted to teach you a lesson." And I was like, "Okay, what was wrong?" "Well, you did not let me tell you the whole. You did not let me finish the complete requirement of what I wanted to do. Yes, you did. Luckily, you were able to get it done, but I wanted to teach you a lesson of being a good listener and having people just repeat yourself after that, if to make sure that you capture everything that you need." And I think when I think about it now, I said thank you to that, because this is one of the things that it's so successful in any different way. Obviously, it's part of that communication, but a lot of the gaps that we see, or that I see with clients, and not just past when I was with KPMG and other companies, it's the lack of communication that happens between groups, and how this will impact not just a timeline, but it could be very costly. It could delay. It could potentially have a lot of delays. So many different things that could happen. So yeah, I will never do that. And that's one of the things I tell my team. You got to be good listeners all the time. If you're not 100%, repeat yourself as many times as you want. Just ask the questions. Make sure that everyone is clear, expectations are clear, and boom, everybody wins. So I think that was a good lesson from leadership. Um, and other than that, I was always very nice to people. And my boss was like, "You can't be too nice. You can't be that nice." So, like, sometimes you have to make decisions, and hard decisions. So now with these roles, how we have to make some tough decisions as well, or having difficult conversations. And nobody really likes to have these difficult conversations, right? But learning how to tell the message, how to say the message, use examples, just encourage people, motivate people, ask questions so they can see the answers themselves. And I think this is something that I do. So trying to picture the message in a way with questions that they can answer their own issues. And it is working. And again, it's about trust. So I give it all for my team. To be honest, I think not just for the team, but for the company in general, and how collaborating each other, how do we close gaps between teams, and have visibility on what things are happening and what are not happening. So I am. I love what I do. Like I said, maybe a little bit too much. Procurement. It's just yeah. Sometimes I'm like, okay, what am I doing working so late? But I don't see it as work. I see it as a mission, as a and when others see value in the things they do, it motivates me. I don't know. I think I've done enough. I accomplished so many dreams, and there's one coming up, which I'll be announcing on LinkedIn pretty soon. But I'm excited. I'm being blessed with everything that God has provided. So if I can build a path for others to see themselves where they want to see themselves, to believe in themselves, to trust themselves, and to just put all the no's in the back, and just keep showing up. It's just that's potentially what has changed my life, and I believe that it will change anyone who actually believe that could happen. So
I think that's a perfect segue into the next segment that we keep hinting at. with Somos. So you launched this at a time when you were in between roles, right? And so first, just tell us what it is, and then um, how what sparked this idea for you.
So somos means we. Somos is in Spanish is me, is we. We are. So somos procurement is we are procurement. We all are procurement. So when you think about everything that I'm wearing today, or everything that everybody, the phones and everything else, it is procurement. So by creating like a more of an inclusive, not just for the Hispanic community when it comes to Somos, but I want to also serve as a voice, not just again to minorities, but also to anyone really who still fighting for or navigating that path by empowering our younger generation to show up, to be creative, to actively listen, to ask questions, to worry more about all these soft skills that we need these days so we can relate and connect to people, to tell stories the kid and others can relate. And I think that we need more of that, not just in procurement, but so many different industries. I think like our leaders have done a great job, but our future generation are those individuals who are just graduating from college. And I was reading something a couple of weeks ago about the increased number of undergrads without a job, and I was concerned. I was a consultant before, so a lot of the big fours have frozen, like they freeze all of their hiring for entry levels because AI is doing all these things. And how do we ensure that we are supporting these individuals? And I don't feel like we're doing enough to do that. So Somos will serve as a voice to empower younger generations to keep showing up, to be creative, to change, to challenge ideas, and just to bring their unique skill sets. And we're not changing that. So just creating that more inclusive um, procurement voices that we need, and whether this is going to be from Latinos or any other minority or anyone actually really. But yeah, so I'm creating a space for that. So and eventually soon be able to provide scholarships to some of these college students. So I was at a conference the other day at Rutgers University through ISM. So thank you once again, and also Sachi, thank you. I don't know if you're watching this, but she's incredible, and I was able to get through that because of her. I appreciate all that support. And it was awesome. It was that first time I speaking about my experience, and it was so nice. It was really, really nice to see how many people related to my story, and we had some in different backgrounds and different age range, and it was fascinating to see people wanting to talk to me about their experience as well, and how my story related to their story. So it was nice. And we also hosted another talk, and thanks Laura for helping design as you're watching at the University of Texas at Arlington, with all these about analytics and about procurement excellence. And we're just trying to help each other out. I think we need more of that. And if I can be the voice, I will continue to be the voice for others. And I think it's working out well. And it was a tough time. So again, it's a clear example that sometimes during the toughest times of our lives, we come back with like great ideas and things that we never thought of.
So what do you create with Somos? Because I've seen you post a little, I've seen you do some writing. Is it is it mostly just putting content out there? Or are you getting people together? Like what's your what can people look for if they're interested in joining you or
So the beginning, I
engaging
have,
with you?
thank you. And at the beginning, I just created it without really a clear path of what I wanted to do with it, and it became really well. So a lot of people got engaged with it. Now it's getting better. So we'll continue to host these meetups in New York City, anywhere else. I know there's a lot of people asking about these meetups. It's not necessarily Somos, but we'll try to figure out how that's going to play out. I think the goal is to help again our younger generation or anyone who's new to procurement, and ensure the wonderful things that we can do in procurement. Obviously, it's not easy, but yes, it's not for anyone. But there's still space for people to transform, not just our industry, but also their lives. So we don't. I will continue to work on it. I've been with my new roles and everything else. I've been just writing content just to motivate people, get people excited. But soon I'll be sharing more about what's going to happen next. So
Okay. Well, we'll
sorry.
we'll definitely follow up on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And okay, so you are obviously concerned and wanting to help support the next generation in procurement. And so I think that begs the question, what do you think should be top of mind for those that are considering procurement as a career, or maybe are just, brand new baby procurement in their roles? What do you think is, number one, number two? What are these things that they need to be aware of and able able to adopt so that they can be successful?
I think that's really a great question. But I think networking, believe it or not, is so important at any stage of your life. Like, even I'm telling you, I met one of the most fascinating, amazing people and friends through LinkedIn. I don't have any other
Same.
social media. I don't have social media. I don't have anything else. Like, no Facebook. I stopped using that 7 years ago. Um, so I think network as much as you can, because you just never know. Try to nurture relationships. I talk to people who I used to work with for the past 19 years, 14 years. And I send them reminders. Hey, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking of you. Or little things that we just take for granted. I think life is too short. And my message to people is, like, have this mindset of continuous learning. This is what we need these days. There's always going to be someone who will know more than you, always going to be someone who will not know more than you. Just continue on your path, be open-minded to learning new things, challenge yourself. I just hired 3 individuals for the past 3 weeks, well, a month, and one last week. And there were very key areas that we thought of to hire that person. And one of those was the curiosity for learning new things, the energy to wanting to be better, the enthusiasm of bringing new ideas and being creative and challenging even some of the questions and stuff that I presented. We need that. We have the technical aspects that we can learn as you go. I wasn't a procurement person. That doesn't mean that you don't need a degree. The more you learn, the more it is, the more value you bring to the table. But just have that mindset of continuous learning, curiosity, data literacy. We got to learn how to tell stories with data. We got to learn how to tell stories with, with all these numbers, and be able to understand how that works. So, yeah, I know we almost at time, but all our dreams will come true if we have the courage to go through that. So, when somebody tells me, "Oh, I cannot do that," I was like, "Well, I will disagree to that. If I've done everything that I've done for the past 17 years on my own, and with the support of others, don't tell me you cannot do that, especially when you were born in this country." So,
That's right.
yeah, it drives me, it upsets me that I see this mentality. But again, to each their own. But if we can motivate people to don't get discouraged, if you hit a rock or if you get redirected, it's part of the plan. It's part of the process. You find your way around and keep going until, if that's what you want. I don't quit. I don't know the quit. I don't know how to quit. So yeah, I proved myself, and it's been working. So yeah, just keep showing up.
It sounds like that is the perfect message. My next question was, what would you tell your 19-year-old self arriving in the US and facing adversity? What would you tell little Jose um, in those moments? And I think you just said it.
Like, I had a conversation with someone who I really appreciate a lot, Matthew. And I took my mom the other day, last week, to one of my favorite dinner places here in New York City by the water. And just seeing my mom, like, well dressed, excited, seeing all this complete different, having this complete different experience all about her. And you say, Mom, thank you. This is all of you. And it got me very, very emotional. I obviously what wasn't showing that to my mom, but all I said is like, I said thank you to because God has provided me with everything that I needed when I needed it the most, has taken me out of issues when I needed it as well, has presented obstacles that I needed to learn, and has provided for me to bring food to my family, to bring food to my community, to help empower others, to help motivate others for the past few years. And what I would say to that person is, it still is just the beginning. I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. Now I'm setting new expectations and new goals, and then getting into that direction. Um, but I did what it was planned for me to do, and I'm happy where I am today. I love what I do. I work with amazing people, and it was worth every day for the past 12 years of hard work and learning English and knocking doors and being slapping face and all the different things that happen throughout. So um, yeah, it can be motivated. So that to that younger, 19-year-old is like it was worth it. It has been worth it every single step of the way.
I love that. And that would be exactly what he would need to hear. That probably would have been nice to know. You probably had faith, but um, just a little nudge of everything will be worth it. All of the challenge and hard moments, your hard work will be um, validated and rewarded. So, but that message can go out to everybody that's listening right now.
Yep. And I'm here to support anyone. I don't know if you have any questions from. I would love to answer any questions from the audience. But yeah, if you join us, thank you. Yeah, I'm here to support you in any. I mean, in anything I can, right? Whether if you're a younger person or anyone just graduating from college or whoever is watching and needs to talk, I think I'm here to help support that as well and guide as needed.
You've got a couple shout outs in the chat
So
for Somos Procurement. Love that.
awesome. Well, thanks everyone. No, it's been awesome. I can't wait to share the news in the next 15 days. So we'll be sharing some news or something else that I'll be doing. But I'm super excited to what's gonna be coming up. So yeah, I can't wait to continue with all this content. I think content creation for me it relaxes me. I know I like to share a little bit about me from a personal standpoint, but it's nice to connect with people, especially when people see me. So if you're coming tomorrow to the meetup in New York City, can't wait to meet you there. If not, we'll be also in Houston, Texas pretty soon.
Okay, so for those that are in the New York area that might be interested, can you provide a couple more details on that meetup?
Yeah, so tomorrow 6 o'clock in the afternoon in New York City, there's an event already in my profile, so you can go ahead and click the event for the details. We have found the Gem Saloon, which is we hosted an event before. It's a nice bar there, so we can have some drinks and some snacks. And yes, I know some of you will be coming, so thanks again for everybody that support. And this is just the beginning. There's no better or something else that than people, and people again as the main driver, people as the um, change makers. I would call it that way.
Yep. And for anyone else, it sounds like you've got a lot that you can't talk about, but just for the rest of us that can't be let in on the secret, is there anything else coming up for you that you can share?
Oh, not yet. No, I think I'll be announcing. I'll be announcing the news pretty soon in August. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be doing some interesting work. So I
Are
can.
you opening up a bakery? Is that the news?
Oh, I wanted to know. Actually, people do ask me that question. It's just baking takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And at least what I learned in school was more of a very design structural cakes, not just any cake. So you will probably, I think that one of the cakes that took me the most was like almost 12 days for a wedding cake. So that was the most expensive cake at the time. It was probably 2014. It's $700 cake. I don't want to tell you all the crazy stories that could happen during baking, but yeah, it's it's. I know some of you also are very passionate about all those things, but yeah, baking it's
I'm
something that
passionate about pies. That
uh,
is that's my go-to.
yeah, I know the best of pies. I'm pretty good at cakes and stuff like that, but pies not the best one. But I can try it. So again, you try it and you learn. With
Well, I'm going to open it back up just in case in the next 60 seconds. If anybody else has a question about Somos or what secrets Jose is hiding that we need to announce officially, send those through. But otherwise, yeah, okay, great. Kathy put in the link in the chat
thank
there
you, thank you.
for your profile if someone wants to find you and get into that event for tomorrow night.
And quickly, I was gonna maybe you can show something really quick. But when I did the conference, when I spoke at the Rutgers University, we have some students actually there, and it was great. We stay in touch with these students, so I'm still helping out with some guidance there, mentorship. But they also won some tickets to go experience DPW in New York. So two of them actually won tickets, and it was a really good experience for them to learn about supply chain, for them to learn about all this procure tech. So also like DPW did an incredible job with that by allowing giving them an opportunity to go and experience what a DPW experiences. So yeah, that was also really something nice that we did through Somos.
Ah, amazing. And what a way to get introduced to the industry by going to like the most coveted conference
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
It was a great opportunity. When I was in college, I did not have the chance to do internships because I was too busy doing other things. So it was challenging. But now, if when if people have the opportunity to join these events, to join meetups and just to come and network and talk, yeah, it's a great opportunity for anyone to advance faster in their careers.
Excellent. Well, we've come to the top of the hour, and I'm so sorry to say that we've got to close this thing out. But I want to thank you, Jose, for sharing so much of your story with such honesty and heart. I think the stories that you told us and the work history that you've shared, everything has been such a powerful reminder that we're not here just to work, and it's not just about systems, it's not just about strategy, it's really about people, motivating them, having goals, and um, committing yourself to the things that you value the most. And so I want to thank you, um, you know, on behalf of everybody that got to sit in and enjoy this conversation. This has been one of our better Voice of Supply Chain shows.
No, appreciate it. No, thank you. By the way, congratulations on your anniversary. Isn't it today?
Yes, oh my gosh. We just jumped right into everything. This is my 12th episode hosting, and it's been a wonderful year of um, connecting even more, engaging with the supply chain and procurement industry, and I've loved every minute of it. And thank you everybody for listening to all these episodes and for joining in and being a part of this journey. We've got many more coming up, lots of great guests coming on the show coming up. We've got David Yarkin, and a few others that will be promoting very soon. So for the next one, you can expect David. And I want to remind everybody, if there are past episodes that you want to catch up on, you can always check out the ISM New Jersey YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe and go back through and, take in a whole year of Voice of Supply Chain in an afternoon if you feel like it. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Kathy Perna. Thank you. She's always in the background helping us make this show possible. And yeah, that's it. Until next time, have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you. Had a great time today, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Voice of Supply Chain.
Thank you, Catherine. Thanks everybody for watching.